May 17th. May 17th. That's 10 days left, y'all. School. 10 days left. All right. We got EOGs Thursday and Friday. What a great week. What a great week to celebrate all of your learning throughout the year. Here we go. Summary, because there's no starter today. No starter today. Summary is going to be the same as Thursday and Friday. Okay. We're going to continue to explain key terms related to financial literacy. We're going to finish our third set of terms today. No starter. We're going to begin 146, financial literacy, vocabulary 3 out of 3. Please let me know if you do not have that page. And then we're going to finish with the ticket out the door. And then your asynchronous work is to complete 146, financial literacy, vocabulary 3 out of 3. My goal is that you finish that today and you don't have any asynchronous work. Also, I have many students, some of them that have finished all of their work for the year, okay, by going ahead and completing the EverFi modules for financial literacy. You can start to do that. You can creep ahead and start doing that if you would like, okay? But if you look, everything's already posted in Canvas. Your instructions are posted in Canvas. So as soon as this loads, I was going to show that to you. But you can take a look at that and just start creeping ahead as you finish your vocabulary today. You can move ahead to right here, EverFi, May 18th to 28th. Okay, I've got these different dates that you need to complete these. 2 modules are due tomorrow. 2 are due on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, we're taking a break because of EOGs. You can continue, though, if you'd like. And then Growing a Business is due on Monday the 24th. Your Financial Future, Tuesday the 25th. Build Your Blueprint, May the 26th. Okay, so keep that in mind, please. Everybody go to 146, please, and join the Nearpod. Join the Nearpod. All right, here we go. 3 out of 3. You need to get a quick definition in your own words related to these terms. Okay, here we go. So deferment. If something is to be deferred, that means you can delay the whatever it is, right? So if you get a loan deferred, so here's what some people do. They get a student loan, they go to school, right? They go to college, they get a student loan to help pay for it. When they finish, okay, they can sometimes defer that loan until they get a job, okay? Or they can defer it for a year or whatever, or until they finish school. They can defer it until they graduate so they don't have to pay on that loan quite yet, okay? So it's the official permission to pay for something later. So that is deferment, okay? So get a quick definition down, please, for that. Again, that is deferment. When something is delayed, you can delay the payment for something. It's not, if you don't have to, I wouldn't recommend deferring your payments because you're just delaying yourself getting out of debt. Okay, you're just delaying yourself getting out of debt. But if you have to, you can request one sometimes too. Maybe there's financial hardship. I bet a lot of people have been able to defer their loans and some payments because of COVID this year. I bet a lot of loan companies have allowed people to do that. If you don't have to, though, it's not like it's free money. You know, you're going to have to pay it eventually. So just a heads up. So if I'm you, I wouldn't defer anything unless you ultimately had to. Okay? All right. Next up, annual fee. Annual fee. So some people think getting credit cards is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I guess it depends on the way you use it. But annual fee is sometimes a credit card company will charge you basically an annual fee. They'll take out money every single year and charge you every single year just for the ability to use their credit card. Okay. So it's just an annual fee that often occurs. Sometimes checking accounts and savings accounts will have an annual fee. I'll tell you what, don't open an account that has an annual fee because there's so many that are free out there. They're just trying to take free money from you. They're just trying to say, hey, we'll take your money. Okay. If I'm you, I would not do that. Okay. Find a free one that does not charge an annual fee, but credit card companies will usually have an annual fee that allows you to use their credit card, right? Get the definition down, please. All right, so next up is promissory notes. Okay, this is a written promise to pay an amount of money before a particular date. So if you get a loan or something, this is basically you signing off that you're going to do that. Anybody know why? Like, what happens if you break your promise? Y'all know? Like, what's the big deal if you break your promise? No, they don't kill you. All right, they ding your credit score. They take your credit score down, which means, let's say you buy a car, you take $8,000 out, you sign a promissory note, but then you don't follow up on that. One, they'll come and take your car. Two, no one's going to loan you money again until you can make yourself credible, make yourself show that you can manage your money and pay your stuff back. Next time you go to buy a car, they're going to say, no, I'm not going to loan you a car because you didn't pay off your last one. Okay. So it's important that you do not break your promise. Okay. Go ahead and write that down, please. Quickly. Shouldn't take long. That's short.
I mean, what is there to fear? I'm from Black America, it's just another year. You knew the disrespect by your elected puppeteers, but let me show you how to persevere. Just get up every time somebody knock you down and celebrate in front of people like they're not around. And if they try to build a wall to keep you balling out of bounds, use the bench they told you want to keep the fences knocking down. Shout out to the Tinos, cause hustling ain't illegal.
Next up, unsubsidized. This is a loan in which the borrower is responsible for interest that adds on over time for this type of a loan. This is kind of like just a regular loan that we would think of, okay? A home loan, a car loan, an unsubsidized, which means there's no additional support received. You're responsible to pay it, all of it, no support, okay? A subsidized loan is a little bit different, where maybe the government will come in, or there's a program where your loan is subsidized, or there's a little bit of support where another organization or the government will pay for that loan, okay, or part of it, or the interest, or it's just a little bit different, okay, just a little bit more support for you in paying that loan off. Sometimes you can get unsubsidized or subsidized student loans, okay? Sometimes there's like subsidized housing, which is housing that has maybe some support behind it, where maybe it's more affordable because it is subsidized. Okay, so a portion of it, a part of it could be paid by an organization or by the government or through another program. Okay, all right, get that down, please.
Legal. We bring it to the east of the Father, we all are equal, but if part of they gon' progress and stopping us get the C-notes. Well, let me ask the crowd, do one of y'all disagree? Just to talk the city, though, I represent the county. Until your voters counted, no, I got to tell them outie. It's all about the effort, and I'm effortlessly pressure. If I'm preaching to the choir, I know they're bound to get the lecture. And with my folks around me, pushing envelopes and boundaries. So you.
All right, next is gross income. Gross income, the total amount of income from wages before any payroll deductions, such as taxes and health care. So this is when you go and you get your first job and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get however much an hour. And you're like, okay, I worked 40 hours. Oh, I worked 40 hours and I'm making $10 an hour. So my check is going to be $400, right? $400 in a week. But you get that check back and it's $300. You're like, what? What just happened? How could that be? Your gross income is that $400. That's before there are taxes taken out, other benefits taken out, withholdings for Social Security, Medicaid, like different things. The state takes taxes out, the federal government does. So you end up with far less than what you expected. So that is your gross income, is the number before those deductions. Your gross income is always going to be much more, but you got to plan on your budget based on your net income. Your net pay is the money you will actually get that you can put into your account. All right. So it's always a shock that first time. It's honestly a shock every time when you look at your paycheck and you look at all the deductions taken out for healthcare, everything else. You know, like for me, I pay all of my family's health insurance besides my wife, so my kids. So that is deducted every single month from my check. And so it is less than my gross income. Okay, my net income is what you receive. All right. Any questions so far, y'all? Any questions from anybody? Okay, we'll move on in 20 seconds.
You won't only hear me, will you found me? When someone asks questions like, can I be afforded the most? Better answer me with more than a no. I'm trying to tell you. Never not getting enough. And this like.
All right, next up is capital tax. Capital tax. All right, y'all. This is, let's say you buy a house. Okay. You buy a house as more of an investment. So you buy that house for $100,000, which is pretty cheap nowadays. And then you end up, the price of that house goes up to, it doubles in 2 years. It goes up to $200,000. You then sell it. How much money did you make? $100,000. You made $100,000 profit in a way. But that amount is taxed. So you got to pay that. It's taxed. So you take that $100,000 and then you pay what, like whatever your percentage of regular taxes is based on your income. You end up paying probably $10,000 to $20,000 of taxes based on that sale. You profited 100, but you end up having to pay taxes on that. Okay, that's kind of viewed as income. So that's a capital tax. Same thing goes if you're selling, looks like precious metals, you invest in gold or other things, stocks, bonds. When you buy them, the profit you make when you sell them is taxed. All right, you don't get just all of that profit. It is viewed as like income and you have to pay taxes on that. Okay.
I'm leaving, and no, I believe me. Y'all go, I ain't leaving, I'm posting like. Never not getting enough. In this life, that I'm leaving, and no, I believe me. Y'all go, I ain't leaving, I'm posting like. This is for the county in the area surrounding DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Now what you willing to let die first, yo? Your pride and your freedom. The story of my life in a conflict. It's like I follow my dreams, but how I'm supposed to slide in the DM on this mic, what I'm trying to accomplish.
Debt, all right? Debt is amount of money you owe to a person, bank, or company. Okay, you borrow money from them. So your debt could be from multiple things. You borrow money for, you borrow money because you're just using a credit card. You borrow money to buy a car. You borrow money to buy a home. Those are some common things. And so at the end of the day, you still have to pay that money over time. But that is you being in debt, you owing that money. All right. And honestly, you don't want that to climb. You don't want that to get out of control. Okay. Your debt. That can be really hard to get out of. If you don't have to, don't take a loan out. If you have to, sometimes it's the best thing to do. Okay. So one thing that can happen, if let's say you are in debt, maybe you took out a bad loan where you just took out a loan that maybe it was too much. You got behind on some payments and then you lose a job. Okay. And you don't have a way to pay it back. So one thing that's going to happen is one of these next few vocabulary words is credit score. That credit score goes way down. Okay. So it's really hard for you to borrow money in the future. Another thing that happens is you may have to declare bankruptcy, which means that stays on your credit score for, I believe, 7 years. So you will not necessarily be able to get a loan or anything that will help for 7 years before that goes off your credit score. If you have assets or money or things, those things can be seized from you as well. So if it's a car or a home, you could potentially lose those things through that process. So it's really hard to come back from that. And that's why those promissory notes, right? Those loans, the debt, you need to make sure you are paying that and basically make it a game where you try and get your credit score up as high as you possibly can. You want to make it a game, and you want to see that go up. Because when people see that go up and you go to get a loan, they're going to say, yeah, we'll loan to this person because I know they're good for it. Okay. And that's where we are here. Credit rating or credit score, a measure of credit worthiness based on analysis of the consumer's financial history, often computed as a numerical score. I believe it goes up to 850 or 900, your credit score. And so you want to get it as high as you possibly can. Yeah, so a good way to get it up. So right away, I don't know what it starts at for, let's say you're 18 and you start, it's hard to, right away, they don't know if you can be credible, right? If you're trustworthy with your money. So one way to do that is to open up an introductory account where maybe you do have a credit card, but you're using it wisely for everyday purchases and you pay it off every single month. You'll start to see that number go up. Then that number will go up, and then maybe you can get a car loan. You get a car loan, you pay that consistently, and you pay that off. And then, okay, now a mortgage company will say, hey, this person is trustworthy. I can give them a mortgage because I know they're good for it. So then you do that, you take out a loan, and then you pay that back consistently, and you'll see that credit score go up and up and up. So it's like showing that the times that you do borrow money, you are good for it, you pay it off, you're good to go. They'll look at how much money you make. They'll look at different things to help determine, your investments. Do you pay your bills on time? Do any of your accounts go to collections? Let's say you got a medical bill. Does it go to collections, which means the hospital or the doctor tried to reach out to you a lot and you did not pay? Then they'll send it to somebody else, and that will go on your record. And they'll say, hey, you didn't pay that. Your score will go down. So the banks will look at that number to determine if you're trustworthy with your money, and then they will loan to you if that score is good. Okay. Any other questions?
Understanding your credit score, presented by WallStreetSurvivor.com. A credit score is a simple 3-digit number that tells lenders how likely you are to repay a loan. Here are two friends, Leslie and Andy. Leslie and Andy are both 30 years old, living in the same city, working at the same place, and earning the same salary. Leslie is fiscally responsible. She puts a portion of her salary into a savings account every month, always pays her credit card bills on time, and has never missed a payment on the mortgage of her home or her student loans. Andy, on the other hand, is a fiscal mess. Andy lives beyond his means and is always pushing the limit on his credit card, and isn't afraid to miss a payment or two to buy the things he wants. Andy rents an apartment and hasn't even paid off his student loan yet. Now, if both Leslie and Andy came to a banker looking for a loan, which one do you think will get the better rate? Obviously, given their histories, Leslie is more likely to pay back the money she borrows on credit, on time. On the surface, however, Leslie and Andy look pretty similar. Same income, same job, same city. It's only when you dig a little deeper you can get to the good stuff. In order to save time, lenders invented the credit score that takes into account all of your financial history. Banks use your credit score when you apply for any loan, such as a mortgage, a business loan, a line of credit, or car and student loans. Scores typically range from 200 to 850. The higher your score, the better your credit is, and the better rates you'll get. The average score in the United States is around 711. A score of around 740 and above usually gives you the best interest rates, and scores of 620 and below usually prohibit you from borrowing any money at all. A good credit score is important to get good rates on the money that you borrow. For example, given their spending habits, Leslie's credit score would be closer to 850, while Andy's would be closer to 600. If they both need to borrow $1,000, Leslie's interest rate would be closer to 5%, while Andy's could be as high as 20%. So, while Leslie's monthly interest payments would be $50, Andy's would be $200. You can build good credit by getting a credit card as young as possible, paying off your credit card in full every month, sticking with the same credit card for a long time, and never missing a payment on a loan. To learn more about credit reports and other personal finance topics, head over to WallStreetSurvivor.com.
All right, again, and I look at that credit score thing as like a game. And actually, mine went down 3 points this month. I was like, what? Why is it going down 3 points? I was so mad. I'm like, what would be the reason? And I wish I knew. I think I had one account I didn't return the modem from Spectrum because of COVID a while ago. I think I got to return my modem. So I think they charged me and we moved addresses, something else. So, it's those things you got to follow up on and see, just to make sure all your accounts, you're good. You got everything paid off. Everything's good to go. So anyway, I got to make sure to get that back up. Each time also that you open an account or ask to borrow money, even ask, let's say you go and you're like, hey, I'm going to get a mortgage. So you go and you talk to a bank, they run your credit. You go to another bank and another bank and another bank. The more times you run and you're saying, hey, I'm thinking about borrowing money, they're like, hey, what's this person going to buy? What are they doing? They keep trying to open all these accounts. Your score will go down. Then when you pay it off continuously, okay? So don't get a credit card and not pay it off. That's not the point. Get one, use it for like, I don't know what. I mean, when you're your age, use it for something simple and pay it off every month so your credit starts off and goes up and up. But don't use it if you're not ready. Don't use it if you're not ready. Okay, everybody go to Take It Out the Door, please, May 17th. And again, like I said earlier at the beginning of class, y'all can move ahead and do the EverFi. And I'll actually introduce that to you a little bit in just a second. But go ahead and finish the Ticket Out the Door. Should only be 3 questions. The objective is up there. The unit is up there. The asynchronous work is up there as well. Okay. All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go to this EverFi thing. Okay. Show y'all how it works, and then I'll let y'all go. So the EverFi module, it's beneficial. It's beneficial. Okay. It's way better than lamemathgames.com or whatever y'all playing all the time. All right. So if you go to EverFi Financial Literacy, it'll give you these directions, right? So you go to NC Ed Cloud. You go to Clever. You're going to see log in with your NC Ed Cloud account. Make sure everything's good. You'll log in. Okay. All right. From here, there's EverFi right here. For me, it's the third one. I favorited it. But you can see maybe you go down here to more apps for the district. You'll see it down there. All right. Click on EverFi. And what you'll see from here is you should see something assigned to you. Here it is. Here's the one we did. Okay. All right. From here.
Welcome to Future Smart, a course about how to manage your money. Before you learn about that, we need to cover a very important question. Why does money matter?
So you'll go through.
With money being a major part of everyday life, it can feel like that's all you're supposed to care about. But it's important to know that money doesn't define who you are, and it certainly can't buy happiness.
And you'll go through. Bottom line is don't rush. Make sure you go through and you do this well. Okay, because if you try and rush, you won't pass the different tasks, and then you have to redo it, and then you'll get frustrated. Okay, but you can go through, and there are, I believe, 7 different things. You got to start here, Welcome Mayor, where you kind of sign your name. You become the mayor of a town. Then you go through smart shopping, ways to pay, investing in you, growing a business, your financial future, and build your blueprint. Okay, and you can complete that as soon as possible. That's literally what we're doing the next 7 days. Okay, the next 7 days. Each of those will be valued at about 10 points. And you can see those due dates on Canvas, posted on Canvas. 2 of them are due tomorrow. 2 are due the next day. Okay, and that will get us to Monday, where I believe 1 is due Monday, 1 is due on Tuesday, 1 is due next Wednesday. Okay, questions? All right, y'all, that is it for the day. Hope y'all have a great Monday.